to wire up the accessories to the bike, hopefully. First thing I need to do is go through the switches and figure out what wire goes to what, and then decide which switches I want to mount, and then run the wiring through the bike. I'll have to drill some holes into the fuel tank, and then put on some connectors to the wires, cut the wires to length, mount everything up, and if everything goes smooth,
so I was just able to get the first hole into the fuel tank for the horn. Let's see if I can show you here. It's right there on the inside. Horn's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I'm adding a washer so it mounts flusher to the inside here. And I'll just put it in, I'll add a lock washer and we'll see how it goes. Alright, horn installed. Next thing to install is that 12-volt step down. I'm going to install it on the same side, somewhere in the rear. Originally, the holes for it were probably for 3mm bolts. I bored out using the Dremel and a grinding bit. I made them for 5. It's a little close to the edge, but it should work. And then I put the first hole in on the side here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can trust me, it's there. I'm gonna mount it up and then start on the second hole. Okay, just finished preliminary wiring of the electrical. So any black wire you see is a ground. There should only be 3 black wires on this bike. One for the headlamp, one for the horn, and then in the back for the brake light. All the red wires are either feeds to the loads, which would be the light, the horn, or the brake light, tail light, or to the switches, and then from the switches, the other side of the switches, they have to go to the 12-volt source. Now I have my wires fed into the gas tank and feeding down through the bottom. Same thing in the rear for the tail light. So what the plan is now is I'm going to take a zip tie and I'm going to tie these off. This eventually will be cleaned up, covered with conduit. But for right now, I'm going to zip tie it so I can hold all the wires where I have them now. Remove the fuel tank with this side intact to the fuel tank, and then I'll be able to wire up from inside the fuel tank. It'll be just much easier to do it with the fuel tank off than to try to lay underneath and do everything that way. Okay, so I think the wiring is done. I just have to mount it back into the fuel tank and cross our fingers. Okay guys, I finished the wiring. I haven't cleaned it up, but wanted you to see it before I did that. And in case it doesn't work, obviously it'd be quicker to take it apart. All right, so here's the bike. I just loosely put in the battery with one strap. You can kind of see where the wiring runs up on the side there. And then in the back by the seat, everything else should be hidden from eyesight. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and the switches, I'm not sure if I might change the positions and use different switches for different things. But for now, here we go. So that is brake light. That would be horn. There's headlight and tail light. Let's see. Looks like that's on. So everything's working as it should be. Yeah! We got lucky. Oh, and also got some good news. Had an early arrival. That's the motor and the rear wheel and the controls. So we got more work to do. Yeah, I'm getting excited. It's starting to look like a bike, a real bike.